can't convince me that there's no crime, that it's wonderful. The people that are being forced in, and these aren't just Mexican people, the people that are being forced. Mexico doesn't want people. They're forcing them into our country, and we're taking them and we're putting them in our jails and our hospitals, and we're paying them money through different sources. It's a disgrace. Don't tell me about safety. Are you trying to justify safety on the border? I don't think so.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump, and of course, it continues. It's all Trump all the time, really, as far as the media is concerned. David Swerdlick, assistant editor at the Washington Post, joins us. Hello, David.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Good to talk to you. All right, so, you know, I got to tell you, Trump is he's resonating with a lot of people. He is catapulting upwards in the polls, and you know, he's enticing lots and lots of people because he's unafraid. He says what a lot of people feel, a lot of people think, and he's not afraid to answer back these TV people. Like Anderson Cooper said 35 years ago when they built Trump Tower, there were Polish immigrants who were illegal without hats. And he said, what, are you kidding me, 35 years ago? So, I mean, I think he's resonating.
Yeah, look, Steve, there's no question that he's resonating. There's no question about his poll numbers, and there's no question that he's going to make an impact on this first Republican debate on August 6th. You know, no one can dispute that. But and I think you're right to a certain extent that people like someone who's a brash talker. But part of the reason he's able to talk brashly is because he's not really saying much about what he would actually do if he were actually elected president, Steve. Look, a lot of his answers, whether it's immigration, whether it's ISIS, is sort of like, I'd handle it, I'm tougher, I'm smarter, trust me, I don't have the details right now.
You mean you mean like Hillary Clinton?
Well, look, I'm not here to defend Hillary Clinton. I'm here to
Donald
analyze
Trump. I understand.
And look, if Donald Trump, look, he's getting the poll numbers, no question, and no question there are people out there who like his message or at least his style. But I think he would have more credibility if he were to come out and say something like, for instance, look, I'm for a comprehensive immigration solution, but before anything else, I want to deal with the fact that there are immigrants from countries around the world that are in our criminal justice system that do commit crimes. How do we address that? But instead he says, oh, Mexico's tricking us into taking their unwanted people, and a bunch of people coming over are quote unquote rapists. That might resonate with some people, but it doesn't bespeak a president of the United States.
Well, yeah, true. But I mean the way you put it. But he also did say, you know, he didn't say they're tricking us into taking them. He said they're sending us their worst in many cases. And by the way, we're not taking them. They're coming illegally. So, I mean, and you know, you look at what happened now, we have the issue of, go ahead.
Well, no, Steve, he kind of did imply that. He said within the last day or two, he said, oh, you know, the Mexican government is getting one over on President Obama and the administration, and that they're better negotiators. This is what he said in these very recent interviews. Everyone understands that undocumented immigrants are people coming without permission. But at the same time, the implication is that somehow the Obama administration or the government in general is just sort of sitting back and taking it. Look, not to be an Obama
We have no immigration policy.
Not to be an Obama apologist, but more people have been deported under the Obama administration than any other administration.
And more people have come into this country under Obama and have been let go. More criminals have been put into the population, which leads us to sanctuary cities and this terrible murder in San Francisco and other murders by illegals, which is pretty commonplace. And, you know, there was a study done that from the Sentencing Bureau that appeared on Breitbart the other day, 2014 statistics. Even though illegals make up about 3% of the population, the federal arrests of illegals in that year, 2014, made up 36% of federal arrests. There's a huge problem, and Trump has hit it on the head.
Okay, look. If there's a better way to handle the situation than is being currently handled, then that's a reasonable debate to have. But there's no one in either party who's arguing that criminal aliens should just have carte blanche.
But wait a minute. The administration, San Francisco let a convicted felon out on the streets to murder, and that's happened over. And the Obama administration.
Let me be clear about one thing. If we don't agree on anything else, Steve, I'm not in favor of sanctuary cities.
All right, well, that's good.
This has to be This has to be addressed. I am in favor of comprehensive immigration reform, but this has to be addressed at the federal level. I don't think cities should be able to say what they will and will not
And I'll
do.
tell you, let me ask you this. Who do you think is going to resonate more with independents? Let's switch it from Republicans.
Sure.
Donald Trump or Jeb Bush, who says when they come into this country illegally, it's not a crime, it's an act of love. I think Donald Trump will resonate more with independents.
Bush, Rick Perry, Mitt Romney have all had trouble articulating in a way that people can relate to this idea that you can be tough on immigration and also have appreciation for the immigrant struggle or what have you. That's poor wording. Everybody's used poor wording. But look, in terms of Donald Trump, his wording is just bombastic. It is divisive. He even acknowledged himself that he's divisive. Then he patted himself on the back for being tough. But he even acknowledged that it's divisive. Look, will he resonate as an independent? I suppose so, but you know why I don't think he wants to run as an independent? Because then he won't be in a debate.
No, not to
And
run as an independent. I'm sorry, I meant appeals to independent, not strictly Republicans. Our conversation has been, how's he going to resonate with Republicans? I'm just extending it a little bit to, like, people who are middle of the road or independents. He says he won't run as an independent, and hopefully he never will, because that would help Hillary.
Steve, who can even know where he stands? Look, I mean,
we got 10 seconds. Go ahead.
He used to be for universal health care. He used to be pro-choice.
All right, Hillary used to be
pro-gay,
against gay marriage. I mean, they all do that, David, unfortunately. You may be right, but they all do that.
He's done it across the board.
David, good to talk to you, my friend. Read the Washington Post, folks. We're coming back with the panel. Don't go away.